You might have a smaller account, let's just say maybe around $10,000 or $20,000. And you see these guys on YouTube trading 0 DTE iron condors making maybe $10,000 a day or a week. You say, hey, that's great. I'm going to try that strategy. So you go in on Monday. Hey, it works out. Great. You put it on Tuesday, works out. And you start sizing up a little bit throughout the week. Come Friday, the market moves against you and you wipe out 20% of your account. Bam, it hits you. You might think, hey, I just need a better entry. Things didn't work out. I might have mismanaged it, or could have managed it better. And you think those are the things that are actually the problem. When in reality, it could be that the strategy itself is not designed properly for your account, or that you're using the wrong strategy for yourself or for this account size. Because certain strategies, they're just not the right fit for different account sizes and levels. So in this video, I'm going to share with you and give you a deeper look into trading 0-day options on smaller accounts. Now, most people think that 0-day options are safe because you can define the risk. Let's say you're doing an iron condor and that kind of thing, and you say, hey, I got a defined risk trade. But the issue is not that it's defined risk, it's that the risk to reward ratio is not as favorable. And when you go into a shorter dated option, what's going to happen is that the price risk relative to the theta decay is exponential. And what I mean by this is that, a lot of people are aiming for a fast theta decay. This is something we've done in one of our classes. So check out the classes there if you're a member. And what you do is you go through and you're decaying fast. And most people, they want to hang out right here in the fastest decay, the 0-day. But the issue is that the price risk goes exponential when you're actually going into that zone or area. So what's really happening is that gamma risk shoots right up, and you have to be very careful when you're doing 0-day options because of that gamma risk problem. Now look, I've coached over 400 people, and I can easily tell when somebody's going to get into trouble with their account based on the strategy that they have, their mental state, the way they're going to manage it, what they're using, and all of these different factors, because I can see it already coming and happening. I've already heard the stories. In fact, one of the times I had one gentleman trading 0 DTE Tesla put options. Later on, within that 0-day, that stock tanked. He got an assignment and had a lot of issues with that account. And basically, the account blew up simply because he took a small account trading 0 DTE options on a stock like Tesla. And there's problems that happen all the time, because what happens is that what the big guys do, as far as larger accounts do, with their math, with the tradings, the strategy, the way they manage it, is completely different than the way small accounts need to look at it and operate it. A lot of people always look at, hey, what is Warren Buffett doing? Or what are the big guys are doing? But you're not Warren Buffett. You're not training like, some of the professional athletes. It's the same thing. You can't go out and do the same types of weights and reps. You have to have the right fit for you, for your account size. Okay, so let me share with you the 3-part framework for 0 DTE options, trading them in a small account. The first thing that we want to look at is strategy selection. A lot of people are looking at iron condors when they're doing 0 DTE, or they're looking for shorter dated options. It could also be a 10-day option. The other thing that they're also looking at is credit spreads, whether that's on the put side, you're selling this credit spread, or the call side, you might be selling a credit spread. Now, the issue with this is that in a small account, especially when you're doing 0 DTE, you might be making, let's say, 50 in order to, risk 500. So the risk to reward is not very favorable. So you're risking 500 to make 50. So that means you could be winning. And that's why a lot of people like these trades at the beginning, because they have a good win rate. So you're winning. But then when you lose 500. Now, in order to make that back, well, you've got to do a lot of trades making it back. And that's just the nature or cycle of these types of trades in their probabilities. And it's the same with an iron condor. Let's say you're aiming to make $100. Well, you might be risking $900 on this iron condor. So again, you might be winning often, or, getting those things, but then you lose, let's say, $600 or $500. So it takes away a lot of those wins, and sometimes that can be detrimental, as long as or what happens is people get deflated and then they start trading poorly, or they start stacking up contracts. So the first thing you want to think about is actually the right strategy for the account size and for the job you're trying to do. Now, these trades have a really good win rate, but some other strategies that you might think about is that looking at strategies that have a better risk to reward ratio, especially for smaller accounts, because in those accounts you might be risking 1,000, but something with like an at the money vertical. Okay, so when you have an at the money vertical, you might be risking 100 to make 100. Okay. The other thing is that when you go in and you do an at the money vertical or even a slightly out of the money vertical, you're already, hey, that's defined. And if it totally crashes, you don't have to stress and worry about it. You'll make it up on the next round or cycle, which will be my next point here in a second. But if we go into these types of trades, like an at the money vertical, even on stuff like a Microsoft, and you go in here and you do a 0-day option, because now these trades have those kinds of things. So you've got a 16-point down move. You could set up these trades risking only about $100 instead of risking $1,000, giving you a potential for this stock to kind of just pop a little bit towards the end of the day, and you could get out and make 50, 60 bucks. Obviously, the most you can make here is about $100. The worst is 151, but you could shift these a little bit up, and that way you have a better risk to reward ratio. So here you're risking $74. And if the whole stock totally crashes down, you're only losing $74 instead of $1,000, which is what most people do. So, and if it pops, you can make 176. Now, yes, you do have theta working against you, but if you're looking at things and it does pop, your risk to reward is just way more favorable. So these types of trades work out a lot better. Other side notes on other good trades could be something like a butterfly spread. Now, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. All I'm saying is watch the risk to reward ratio. And that's really what you're looking for, is to making sure that risk to reward ratio. So this way, if the trade fails or fully dies, you're not in huge trouble where you're risking 1,000 to make like 60 or 70 bucks. And then you're watching that trade nonstop. The second thing we would need to think about is position sizing, and also thinking about rounds and brackets. Now, when we look at this win-loss ratio, I've got a couple of different groups here. So we've got 4 different groups. We've got group number 1, which has a ton of wins. So we've got 12 full wins. This is what most people want to see. Second group, we've got the first kind of, four losses out of here. The third group's got 8 losses out of the 12. And the fourth group here, we've got a little bit more losses there coming in. Now, what most people want to do is they want to have a high win rate. And this is what you have, is a win, 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 win. And this is what you typically have and see when it comes to iron condors and credit spreads and that kind of thing. But then what could happen there is at the end, you might have this one loss right there. And what's important to really realize is how much money is coming in at each stage. And this way you kind of know, okay, well, if I'm making $50 a piece per trade, so there's $50, there's $50, so you got another $50. So out of this zone or group, you might have made $200, then another $200. But then over here, what's happening is that you might lose on this one significant losing trade. Well, it might lose like $700. And this is the issue that comes up with these types of trades, is that people like seeing it naturally. We want to see this high win rate, but then we end up losing, a lot more on that loser, simply because the risk to reward is there in place. So when we start mapping out our trades and position sizing, we have to think about this, of how the strategy in the system plays out. So what am I going to do on the next trade or the next trade, and so on. So if we think in terms of rounds or cycles, well, if I need to play this another 10 rounds or 20 rounds or 50 rounds, how many am I going to, or how much am I going to lose on that loser compared to how much am I bringing in? And that's one way to think about it. Now, a lot of people don't like strategies like this, at least at the beginning stages, where you might lose. You have a bunch of losers, and then you might have a win or two. Now, I will say in the professional world, we don't mind stuff like this. Like, we don't mind having a bunch of losers, and then you create a winner. Simply because what you realize is that the people that do these types of strategies, they're asymmetrical kind of strategies where you're risking 50, but then when it works, you might make back, let's say, $800. And those trades can be very phenomenal trades where you have a lot of losers, and it teaches you to lose properly and lose in the right way. And you're comfortable with losing. But then when you win, the probabilities work out, because you might lose a ton of trades and you might only need to win one back out of the other ones. Butterflies are great like that, where you might say, hey, I'm going to lose 50, lose 50, lose 50, lose 50. So you lose 4 of them, and now you're down $200. But then the butterfly itself can make $325 back for you, simply because the cost of these butterflies are very cheap. So I want to show you kind of this principle with a butterfly. I'm going to go with maybe a 2-day spread now that the time frame or the day is a little bit past us. But just to show you this example, say we go into a Microsoft here and we do a butterfly spread for the cost of it, and we'll get rid of this at the money vertical. So they're a bit cheaper than that, than the at the money vertical. And we'll do maybe something like this, where we're risking $18. Okay, so you can see right here, this is $18 cost for this butterfly. But if, let's say we get a retracement tomorrow, because right now this stock is down about 16 points. Okay, but what if we get a retracement tomorrow a little bit? So I'm taking a shot and we retrace maybe even just $5 or $7. And this thing has a potential to maybe make $75, $80, and I'm risking about 16. Now, yes, at the peak, you could see maybe about 200, but that's not realistic, right? So, but what could happen is maybe $60, $70. You might make back $80, and that's almost, you know, winning 4 times back of what you're paying for it. And that's really the beauty behind these types of trades. And if you have something like this where you're losing 3 or 4 trades and then winning one, you'll still could be ahead if done properly and correctly. So think about this as the next part or piece of your framework when you're mapping things out for 0-day trades and for your small account, or even just planning things out, even if you've got a larger account, how this can really impact you. And different trades right here might be the same thing that you think about, where let's say you've got a handful of losses, or you lose, you win, you lose, win, lose, win. Just the number of scattered losses versus the types of wins. Those trades are still fine. It's okay to lose more, the number of trades, as long as these winners are paying back much more so than the ones you're losing. So it's not about the quantity of your losers. It's actually about how much are you losing when you lose versus the amount you're winning when you win. All right, the third and final point I want to make is thinking in terms of velocity versus quantity or sizing. What most people do when it comes to 0-day trades, or even in, call it the basic levels, they go in and when they do an iron condor, they go in and say, okay, I've got this much money. I want to use so much percentage of my account. Well, I'll go in and slap on 10 contracts. Okay, so that's one way to think about it. And then they let this thing go and, decay and expire and so on, rather than thinking in terms of velocity or rotation velocity. Okay, because right here you're trying to use theta and you're trying to get it to expire. But instead, what if you could do that same iron condor, but do one contract, okay? And you do in one contract, but you're collecting, maybe instead of aiming for the $100 on the other one, you're collecting $15, and then you're closing the position, and then you're opening up a new one, because as price shifts to a new zone or level, like let's say it shifts all the way over here, well, then you're opening up a new iron condor. Now this gets into multi-entry iron condors and that kind of thing, but it could be on a 2-day, 5-day cycle, but you're repeating the process. The same thing if you're doing an at the money vertical, where instead of thinking in terms of, just aiming to risk 100 to get 100, and people are waiting on those 0-day options. What if you could just aim for a $10 move as price is kind of wiggling around here? You make $10 and you just repeat that over the course of, another 10 times, and you've made your $100. So that's another way to think about it, is you're thinking about turnover velocity rather in terms of thinking of quantity, because most people gravitate towards quantity rather than velocity and turnover. So that's actually what we want to do, is rotate capital time and time again, so we can actually repeat that process. And it also lets us reset those positions in maybe a more favorable way, or a more favorable zone or area, or a different ticker. So think about those things as well. All right, so the final point to bring this home I want to make is, if you have kind of a focus on short duration 0-day iron condors, and you're risking, let's say, 1,000 to make 100, and you're also sizing up quantity in terms of 10 versus 1, rather than thinking in terms of velocity, this can really blow up an account. It can really cause some damage. Rather than when you think about, let's say, a better strategy fit for a small account, like an at the money vertical, it could be a butterfly. You could even do do calendars, although very difficult or much more difficult to do them shorter duration. You might do them longer duration, but just think more in terms of velocity. But the point is that when you think about these things like the better strategy fit for the account, thinking in terms of velocity and speed, and thinking about your win-loss ratio when you think about the position sizing, all this is going to help you out much more so than trying to do something that has a really high win rate, but you're risking a lot, and then you're not rotating and turning, and you're not thinking about the next round or cycle. When you put all those things together, that's when things start to fit, things start to click, and your account usually will grow much faster. Now, if you're struggling with trading overall and you want to learn more about zero DTE, or you want to brush up on some option basics, we have a zero DTE playbook that we did as far as a class goes not too long ago. You can check it out on our website at optionsblackbelt.com. And we've also done a lot of great fundamental and basic classes on options. This is where you'll really learn and understand regarding the 0-day diagram here that I've talked about on the options basics to option spreads essentials. So check out our website at optionsblackbelt.com. The hardest part about trading an account is not necessarily the strategy or the nuances behind all of these things of managing the account. It's really actually more the ego, especially if you've got the small account and you're trying to grow it to a larger account. It's the discipline. It's the mental side. It's the patience that's really going to be the factor of if you grow that account. It's the boring stuff that you have to do, and maybe staying a little bit more lighter in size or tweaking yourself a little bit, which is a bit harder. See, most people are going to go back after watching this video. They're going to keep doing things the same way they're doing. But if things get in your way, if you have some struggle, if a trade goes against you, and you're still doing things the same way that you've been doing, and you don't adopt maybe thinking about the gamma risk or the risk reward ratio, or thinking in terms of cycles, and you're not thinking about these concepts, eventually it will come back and swipe you. If you start treating the market like a lottery ticket and you're sizing up and you're risking a lot to make very little, eventually the market will take that lottery ticket. So be very careful as you start sizing up or doing shorter duration 0-day options in a small account. It can really blow that account up very quickly, even though you might have a nice winning streak for 3 months, 8 months, or even a year. Eventually, it'll come back to bite. So be careful, trade cautiously, trade defensively, and have the right mental approach as you start going bigger. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.